In life, you never know what's going to happen. Sure, some things might seem unfair, but not all of them are bad. I once thought I'd never see a woman again after our first meeting, but then we ran into each other in the most unexpected place. Was it a miracle or fate? Never in a million years did I think our futures would turn out this way. My name is Jake, 30 years old. I work in the product planning department at the headquarters of a food company. I thought it'd be fun if something I came up with could benefit someone or make them excited. That's why I wanted to get into planning, and I found this job. They were hiring fresh out of college, looking for some young blood. Most of my work involves analyzing and collecting data, mostly under the guidance of my seniors. But I always hoped that one day it'd be my turn. Try drafting a proposal. I still remember the thrill when I was given that chance and the joy I felt when even a small project was approved. At 28, I took a big risk and made a proposal for a new project. It got approved and was a huge success. I even won the President's Award. Getting here wasn't easy, but I felt things had been going smoothly. Before I knew it, I hit 30. My parents were getting worried, always asking, "All you do is work. What about settling down?" Both of my parents got married when they were 22. My brother tied the knot at 24. So, they were probably concerned seeing me still single at 30. I know someone who's looking for a match. My mom suggested an arranged date. The idea didn't excite me, but my mom said, "It's not as formal as you think. Why not give it a shot?" Apparently, she had already shown that person my picture. I was annoyed she did that without asking, but she said the response was positive. The woman's name is Catherine. She's 28 and works as a nurse. "I'll send you her picture, take a look." My mom, sounding quite excited, hung up the phone without waiting for my response. Soon after, a picture and a message were sent to my cell phone. "She's the one in the middle." It looked like a fun pic with her colleagues. She had her hair neatly tied up, and her smile was radiant. My phone buzzed again, a message from my mom. "Jake, she's totally your type, right?" My brother had seen the photo too and thought Catherine was right up my alley. That's my brother. He hit the nail on the head, and I couldn't help but laugh out loud reading my mom's message. To be honest, I've been so consumed with work since starting my job that I haven't been dating. Now, I'm not even sure how to go about finding someone. I do think about getting married someday. I felt like maybe it wouldn't hurt to just meet up once. It seems the lady in question, Catherine, isn't keen on a formal arranged date either. The idea was for the two of us to meet up and maybe grab dinner. We decided to have a date, but just the two of us without any matchmakers. We exchanged contact information and set a date. It turned out both of us were free the following Saturday. I was looking forward to the day we'd meet. However, on the day before the date, an unexpected situation arose. "You've got a transfer order." Called into the manager's office, I took the order and my eyes widened. "Is this?" I was at a loss for words. The sudden transfer was shocking enough, but to top it off, the new location was in what could be described as a rural branch office in another state. I have heard that the department has a small number of employees and is just a task-oriented department. Within the company, it had a certain reputation as where the sidelined employees ended up. Seeing my shock, the manager said, "It's perfect for you. You can speak your mind and work as you like." Apparently, he had recommended me for this transfer. While HR and the higher-ups were skeptical, the manager was convinced that I'd bring fresh energy and boost business, or so he claimed. Whether it was true or not, I heard the CEO had high hopes for my transfer too. "You're lucky," the manager said with a smirk. Why did this happen? That's when it hit me after hearing the words, "You can speak your mind and work however you want." Ever since I won an award within the company, the manager's attitude towards me changed drastically. "Hey, Jake, where's that report I asked for?" Looking back, that was the beginning. "Which one are you referring to?" "You know, the one I asked for a week ago," he retorted, his brows furrowing with frustration. But I had no recollection of him asking, and it was rare for him to make direct requests. Without any specifics, he publicly reprimanded me. "Don't get ahead of yourself, all right? I don't know why the director lied about asking me to do it, but he just lectured me and left." There were no urgent follow-up instructions either. I figured he must have been mistaken. However, from then on, he became more confrontational, often making snide remarks. That's when it hit me. A while back, there was a project that the manager pushed through based on his whims. Most of its content was his brainchild. However, it resembled a proposal that had been rejected in the past. Other companies had tried something similar and failed, and it wasn't in line with current market needs. While many disagreed, no one dared to oppose the manager. I, however, offered him some advice. It seems he didn't take kindly to it. That's probably why he targeted me. I regretted speaking up, but continued to work diligently while trying to avoid upsetting him. Seems it didn't work. And as a result, I got what felt like a demotion. "You're moving in 2 weeks. Make sure you hand everything over properly." With that, the manager walked away with a spring in his step. Now, with this transfer looming, the arranged date was the last thing on my mind. The new location was out of state and seemed like a dead end for my career. I thought I should call off the date before things got serious. However, I had already made a reservation at the restaurant. Canceling last minute didn't feel right. And telling Catherine over the phone seemed too rude. I decided to meet her in person and apologize. The next day, I met Catherine in front of the restaurant. Seeing her warm smile made my heart heavy. We entered the private room I had reserved for the occasion. Immediately after sitting down, I said, "Hey." I informed Catherine that I received a transfer order yesterday, that the new destination is far away, out of state, and I was assigned to a lesser-known department. It's a role with no potential for growth, and I had no idea what the future would hold. I couldn't possibly ask her to be okay with this. I also apologized for the inconvenience of meeting under these circumstances today. You could have just called, but you took the trouble to tell me in person. I appreciate it, but since we're here, how about having lunch together? I was prepared for her to be upset, but instead, Catherine gave me a warm smile. We enjoyed a delicious meal, and she shared stories about her work, how she had been too busy to meet anyone, and how a mutual acquaintance had introduced her to me. Turns out, our passion for our jobs was something we both had in common. The conversation flowed naturally, and time flew by. It was bittersweet when it came time to leave the restaurant. As I was leaving, I thanked her for the wonderful time and apologized once again for declining the previous arrangement. I then called my mom to update her. When I told her about my decision based on the transfer, she sounded disappointed but understood. I had some issues with the transfer, including issues with my boss. I considered quitting, thinking it might be better than transferring to the remote branch. But I decided to give it a shot, and if things didn't pan out, I could always leave. I decided to do my best at the new location. And then a year went by. The rural branch, rumored to be monotonous. Indeed, it was less exciting than when I was in the product planning department at the main office. Due to cost cutting, there were fewer staff, and we had to do tasks that would typically be handled by other teams at the main office. The workload was intense, and it felt like all of us were working like mules. Working overtime nonstop, I've been guzzling energy drinks just to keep going. It's been really tough on my body. And then, on a scorching summer day, As I was heading to the bus terminal, I suddenly felt unwell. I tried to sit on a bench but felt dizzy. I collapsed. I was suffering from mild heat stroke at this time. An elderly man nearby shouted, "Are you okay?" But all I could do was nod weakly. Then, I heard a familiar female voice ask, "Are you all right?" Unable to open my eyes, I just groaned. "Can you stand up? Sorry, let's get you to that bench over there." I felt hands supporting me, taking me to a shaded area. I don't know how many people helped me. They bought me water, fanned me, and took care of me. The woman who had spoken to me checked my pulse and felt my forehead to check my temperature. After some hydration and cooling down, I began to feel better. Once I felt a bit clearer, I thanked everyone, and they left. The helpful woman stayed till the end. "I'm glad you're looking better. Please go home and rest." I thanked her once more. "Thank you so much for your help." I looked up and met her eyes, and exclaimed, "Wait." She smiled. "I thought so. It's you, Jake, right?" It was Catherine. She had not recognized me initially, but noticed the resemblance once I began to recover. I hadn't been able to see her face clearly, and only realized now. "But why are you here, Catherine?" She mentioned she was on a solo trip, taking a break. "It's surprising you recognized me from just one meeting." We laughed about it. Seeing that I was feeling better, Catherine looked relieved. I wanted to thank her properly, but decided to rest for the day. She mentioned she'd be in a nearby hotel the next day. We agreed to meet up the next Saturday. And the next day, I called my office right after and took a proper day off, and my body recovered. I let Catherine know that I was feeling better. While eating at a recommended upscale restaurant, I asked Catherine why she was traveling alone. Catherine wanted to be healed by nature while taking in the sights of various regions. But I could sense a hint of sadness in her expression. I'd get pretty worn out, so I took some time off on a whim. Catherine said that, though her smile looked forced. "How about you, Jake?" She shifted the topic to me, and I shared my recent happenings. I talked about my less satisfying job compared to before, and vented a bit. I realized how much I loved the projects I used to work on. I'm not quite content with my current environment. When I first transferred here, I was determined to return to the main office and make a mark, but lately, I've been thinking that maybe trying something different might not be a bad idea. Hearing that, Catherine mused, "Maybe I should come over here. The air is fresh, and it's comforting." She looked distant. Her expression was still somewhat downcast. "What happened?" I asked out of concern. It turned out that her solo journey wasn't just for vacation. Catherine is a nurse at a major hospital. She works in a hospital ward and has a large number of patients that one person handles. While she's proud of her nursing career, she feels she's been too emotionally involved with each patient, which has drained her spirit. She started to wonder if nursing might not be the right career for her. She thought she had overcome such feelings a long time ago, but now they're resurfacing. She's contemplating quitting her nursing job. Not all of them are discharged from the hospital in good health. It might be even tougher than I imagine. Though it's not my place to say, I offered, "Maybe you need a break. Taking some time off can be necessary." It felt like I was talking more to myself than to Catherine. "Maybe I should quit too," I exclaimed with a stretch and a grin. For some reason, I blurted out something completely unexpected. "If you're up for it, why don't we travel together?" What was I thinking? But it wasn't a lie. What was it? I had this vague feeling that things might be better if Catherine and I were together. Catherine looked surprised but then bashfully nodded, "If you're okay with me." "Daddy." "Oh, Michael, what's up today?" I crouched down to lift my energetically running son. The clinic was only half day today, so I picked up Michael from daycare. Today is a community event day at the coastal town center. There are stalls selling fresh seafood, grilled fresh fish, and booths with toys and food that children love. I'm here today as an employee of the company organizing this event. Since my reunion with Catherine, I'd casually mentioned traveling together. It became a reality. We both thought it was just a spur of the moment. I quit my job, and Catherine quit nursing. Since both of us had been working so much, we hadn't spent much. We had plenty saved up for our journey. We traveled around the US on a whim. While I knew I wanted to start something new and loved planning, I wasn't clear about what else I was interested in, or whether I wanted to work in the food industry again. Catherine thought that taking a break might give her a new perspective. The reason she agreed to my wild idea was she hoped the trip would offer some clarity. One of the places we visited is the coastal town we now call home. The scent of the sea was ever present, and every meal we had was delicious. Moreover, throughout our stay, the warmth of the townsfolk was truly comforting. Catherine felt the same way. After our journey, we both considered settling down here. To settle down, we needed to find a job. I wanted to work in planning, so I checked a job listing website and saw that the event company I was working for was hiring. Based on my past work, whether it was in food or miscellaneous goods, I had been thinking narrowly, but I immediately thought, this is it, for someone else. To bring excitement. My core reasons for wanting to work in planning hadn't changed. The event company's website made my heart race even more. That's how I ended up joining the event company. And Catherine, she found work at a clinic. Catherine, who took the time to reflect on herself during our travels. She remembered when she aspired to be a nurse. If she could support someone, even just a little. She realized her pride in nursing and her feelings hadn't changed. During our travels, there were several instances where Catherine assisted sick people. Perhaps it's a nurse's intuition. Not that they were collapsed or huddled, but by observing their movements and complexion, Catherine would approach and ask, "Are you okay?" With swift actions, she'd calm them down, or make them feel a bit better, just like she did for me. I often think nursing is her true calling. I believe Catherine realized that too. Without hesitation, Catherine searched for a nursing job. And she found her current clinic. The clinic is closely connected to the local community. She said she hoped to support the folks in our beloved town. Our trip with Catherine, though spontaneous, never felt out of place. Being with her felt natural, or rather, there was an overwhelming sense of excitement. Our bond quickly grew closer. After living in this town for a while, with the thought, if it's with Catherine in mind, I made a heartfelt confession, almost like a proposal, asking, "Would you stay with me from now on?" To my joy, Catherine felt the same way. We dated for about a year, and then we got married. And then our son, Michael, was born. By the way, my family wasn't surprised when Catherine and I got married. They had anticipated this from the time we started our trip. Especially my mom and older brother, they still claim they played Cupid. Catherine's family is also supportive, happy to see her smiling, even though we're living far away. Had I not met Catherine, I might not have taken such a bold step. Looking back, that unexpected job transfer might have been a turning point leading to this happy future. Far from being a demotion, I think of it as a promotion. But the courage I had at that time is still a mystery to me. What was that about? It was strange, right? Catherine and I often reminisce and laugh about it. Maybe it was a mix of a miracle and destiny. While cherishing these happy moments, I hope we can keep smiling in this town we love so much.